Come have fun with us and don't forget to subscribe.
What's up everybody, I'm Rick.
And I'm Anna, and welcome to our review of the 1937 movie The Good Earth. For those of you who are new here, hi and welcome to our channel, to which you should subscribe right now. Go ahead, I'm waiting for you to subscribe. This channel is dedicated to Rick and my bucket list of goals and dreams that we hope to accomplish in our lifetimes. And one of those goals for us is to watch every movie that was nominated at the Academy Awards for Best Picture from 1927 to 2028. That is a long list of movies.
It is.
We are currently at the year 1937. To this day, we have watched 81 movies as part of this goal. The latest of which is the movie that we're going to be talking about today, The Good Earth. Released on January 29, 1937, this MGM drama film tells the story of a couple of merry Chinese farmers, Wang and O-Lan, who initially experience success, but their lives are complicated by declining fortunes and lean times, as well as the arrival of the beautiful young Lotus. Are you ready to talk about this movie?
Am I ready, boy? Let's get it out of the way first. The elephant in the room. The whitewashing in this movie.
Oh my god.
The white actors playing Chinese characters.
Like shamelessly.
Oh
Shamelessly.
my god.
So,
It feels like we really have not progressed, which is kind of sad. You know, when you think of the Scarlett Johansson debacle a few years ago,
Yeah.
and then you watch this movie, and like things have not changed. And they will tell you the same argument in both cases, I'm sure. Meaning like, oh, we needed a big actor to, you know, convince people to come see the movie. So we get Paul Muni, we get Raynor, we get Scarlett Johansson. But there are no Asian actors. There are tons of Asian actors.
that movie is full of Asian actors.
Yeah.
None of which play an important character.
Exactly. And they're good. Like, it's not like, oh, we were looking for an Asian actors, but they were bad. No, they're good. Even like, do you remember that actress in Shanghai Express?
Yes, I was thinking about that as I was watching the movie. I'm so glad you mentioned it. Anna Wong was her name. So good in
She could have
Shanghai
played the
Express.
wife easily.
I have some information about that.
Oh, okay.
But since I feel like this will be the conversation that we're gonna be having, none of the main actors are Asian or at least of Asian descent or at least half Asian, anything that will make you feel like they might be Asian. I think it's a good idea now to just jump directly into the trivia section and give you some information about the movie so that we can have that as a point of start for the conversation.
Yeah, sure.
So the movie is an adaptation done by Talbot Jennings, Tess Schlesinger, and Claudine West from a 1932 play, which in turn is based on a 1931 novel, all of which have the same name, The Good Earth. The novel being written by the Nobel Prize winning author Pearl S. Buck. Interesting thing to note here is that not one person involved in the conception of the story
Is Asian.
Asian. The movie was directed by Sidney Franklin, who's also the director of Smiling Through and The Barretts of Wimpole Street. And it stars Paul Muni as Wang, whom we've seen before in I'm a Fugitive from a Chain Gang and The Story of Louis Pasteur. Two so much better
I love Paul
characters for
Muni.
him. Yeah.
I love Chain Gang. You know, this is one of the best movies we've watched on this list. Louis Pasteur, he was great in it. And I feel like they saw him and his talent with makeup and Louis Pasteur and thought, hey, you can probably
You can do Chinese.
Yeah. And no.
You know, the thing is that I feel like in the very beginning, it kind of works. I mean, you can tell.
You can tell.
You can tell,
definitely
definitely. But I feel like it's at least somewhat convincing. But as the movie advances, his character just like falls apart in terms of
makeup, you mean? Because I feel like the character was rarely convincing.
Oh yeah, no, the character in terms of like how he like the portrayal of the character was not convincing from the beginning at all. But at least the appearance was somewhat convincing in the beginning, and then the second half of the movie is completely falling apart.
Yeah, it's just Paul Muni walking around.
At the end, I can't like by any stretch of the imagination see a Chinese character in that role. Like that's not a Chinese character. That is a very white man in a field of rice. I appreciate him as an actor. I feel like he was not given anything that he could work with here as a white American actor, you know?
I feel like a lot of them were giving some type of direction of play an Asian character,
Right.
and then like it ranges from weird to insulting.
Yeah, totally. Moving on to the lead female actress here, Louise Raynor, who plays O-Lan, the wife. We have seen Louise Raynor here in the movie The Great Ziegfeld. Again, so much better performance.
Yeah, and I know she wins for this. No.
So,
Like, even in terms of all the characters that are here, you know, sometimes we'll talk about him. Sometimes Uncle was, you know, bearable. The grandfather was, you know, you're watching them, they're playing it as well as they can. Paul Muni too. I don't think she was playing it in any way that would make you think she deserves the Best Actress award. I felt like she was stalled the whole way through. When I was said ranging from weird to insulting, it's mainly her.
yes, her representation of a traditional Chinese wife was...
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I know a few things about East Asian cultures in general. I studied this. I only have very superficial knowledge of anything related to the Chinese culture, especially the role of the woman, but I know enough to know that their understanding of it is also extremely superficial. It's like so surface level.
Yeah.
Oh, you're supposed to play like an obedient wife who can't say much but is only there to like support her husband. And she does it in such a way that just doesn't feel genuine.
But also, you know,
at all.
she doesn't talk much. I feel like maybe it was because she has the trauma of having been a slave and all of that. But you don't feel it. You don't feel it emotionally. You just see a weird character. She's just weird.
She's weird all the way through. The thing is that I feel like the actress herself could not get into the role of like submissive wife. I didn't feel it at all. She is too prideful. She is too, you see it in her eyes, you see it in the way she's supposed to like lean her, when she was doing those gestures, when she was leaning her head, you know, like downwards, looking down. You can see it in her eyes. She's kind of like, I don't know, looking up, you know. She doesn't get the role. She doesn't get the feeling, I feel.
Yeah. If you plant it, it will grow. Oh my God. Like,
Yes.
I can't.
Here we have Muni and Raynor, you know, playing the two main characters of the movie. The focus is on them. The story is mostly about them. I mean, them and their family, but them first. And so a lot of the movie reviews that you can find online are focusing on their performances. And her performance was regarded so highly. At the time and also today.
Oh, yeah?
Also today.
Maybe we're in the minority.
I think so. Let's move on with a few more actors here. We have Walter Conley playing the uncle. Walter Conley, whom we've seen before in Lady for a Day, It Happened One Night, and Libeled Lady. And Charlie Grapewin as the old father, the father, whom also we have seen in Libeled Lady and Captain's Courageous.
So, with these two characters, I thought like they were good. The portrayal was good. Again, should have been Asian actors playing the characters. But like you understood what the character was about, and they played it in a way that made them feel like real characters. Again, I don't feel like O-Lan was a real character in any shape or form. But those two, you know, the uncle, he did his job. He was supposed to be funny at time, annoying at others. You felt that. And the old father, kind of a sad character.
A very sad character, and I have to say, of all the characters, he was the most relatable. And he was played in such a way that made him feel relatable.
Yeah.
So you mentioned before Anna May Wang, whom we've seen in Shanghai Express, who could have played the role of the wife, O-Lan. The thing is that she actually wanted to play that role.
Oh.
She got in touch with the production crew. She was friends with the author of the book, which helped push her for the role, actually. However, the producer, Irving Thalberg, was unsatisfied with her portrayal of O-Lan. Yes.
Yeah.
And
of course.
A second reason why she was not cast for the role is because Paul Muni was already cast for the role of Wang. And according to the Hays Code at the time, it was forbidden to portray mixed race couples, even if one of the characters is actually a Caucasian playing an Asian character.
Okay.
Which, I mean, okay. Here's the thing. And I feel like we have to talk about it in these terms. Those were the times, That's not an excuse. But it does make you understand, like, the extent to which they had to go just to produce this movie.
I feel like, no. I have to hard disagree on that.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people were going to say that maybe in the comments, maybe that's what the reviews are, because it feels like everybody loves this movie. And again, we haven't talked about the movie itself. We're only talking about the actors. The story was great, in my opinion.
Yeah, very good story, indeed.
It's just everything surrounding the movie that is just too,
It's too hard to ignore it,
And so a lot of people are going to come at me saying, or at us saying, hey, these were the times. This was a movie made almost 70 years ago. This is how it is. Blah, blah, blah. No, exactly. This movie is full of Asian actors. They could have had their pick of anyone. And amongst the cast they already had.
Yeah.
Or amongst people that they didn't cast, which can and will carry an important role in the movie, as we've seen in Shanghai Express. She was great, and she was one of the central role of the movie.
Yeah.
And in Shanghai Express, there were several characters, Asian characters, who had an important role in the movie. And
so you can't tell me that you couldn't find.
They could have found someone.
Yeah.
They could have found someone good, and they found a bunch of great actors to play the secondary role, background role.
Right.
They're all over the place. Great Asian actors. And they didn't pick them because they wanted Paul Muni there.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason. It's not about the time.
So, for example, some of the reviews that I found online from the time when the movie came out say that the movie is a must-see picture, a vast and rich film, a superb translation of a literary classic.
That last part I can believe. Like, I feel like this is probably a good translation of the book it was based on in terms of getting all the story elements there.
Yeah, I do have that feeling too. I feel like story-wise, they did a good job.
Not just story-wise, but the movie, apart from, some elements with the makeup, looks great. The field, the views of the city, the train, all of that, the cinematography of this movie is great. And I feel like we've been harping on it the whole time, but there are some great elements in here.
Yeah. So interesting information about the scenery. The production company actually wanted to film the movie on location in China, but because of some turbulent times, it was impossible for them to do so. And so they ended up shooting the film in the US. They went deep into the center of the country to get those kind of picturesque field sceneries to make it feel more realistic. One of the most interesting elements towards the end of the movie is the insects invasion.
Yeah.
Which apparently they couldn't get it done with special effects. After they tried several times and failed, they eventually got notice of a locust invasion happening like 2 states away. So the filming crew just got in a car, drove over there and filmed it in real life. One of the reviews, nowadays reviews, just from a few years ago that I found from an IMDb user, starts by saying, let's eliminate any discussion about the use of non-Asian actors playing Asian roles. The movie is 67 years old. I say let's not, because here's the problem to me. For the movie itself here, it's an issue. It brings down the movie so much.
It's a detriment when at the end of the movie you're watching Paul Muni as Paul Muni. His makeup is gone, his hairdo is gone, he's just Paul Muni.
And shirtless.
Yeah, and we're supposed to still believe that it's an Asian...
exactly.
A Chinese farmer, It's distracting, frankly. And, let's eliminate the discussion. This is 67 years old. We just talked about it. They had tons of Asian actors and Hollywood they could have picked from. And the thing about the age of the movie is irrelevant. Today they still do the same thing. They still do the same thing today.
Yeah. And as I was mentioning, the movie actually these days still has very good reviews. It holds some 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Mm-hmm. It has like really good reviews on IMDb, on other platforms as well. And I feel like the most negative that I hear about it is just, oh, by the way, there are Caucasian actors playing Asian characters. But if we go beyond that, I can't.
We haven't talked about the story at all, so
Yes.
let's get into it a little
Okay.
bit. I think it's a great story. I think, from beginning to end, they go through all these tribulations. There's some historical element put in through. Whether or not this was the life of Chinese farmers, it's a movie. It's irrelevant, really, because they're not really telling you this is a historical movie or anything. They're just presenting you a story. And so the story that they're presenting you is entertaining. It's great.
Yeah.
But the actors are distracting. And to just say, oh, let's put that aside, watch the movie for what it is, I guess some people can do that. Me, half of the time I was like, man, this is so interesting. And the other half I was like, man, this O-Lan character is weird,
The thing is that I feel like to fully appreciate the story in this movie, you have to use your imagination a lot. You have to imagine, oh, what if this was actually a Chinese farmer? Because you don't see it.
Yeah.
You
don't see it from the way he looks, and a lot of time you don't see it from the way he acts.
So as I was saying, I feel like in the beginning, at least looks-wise, especially Paul Muni is more convincing, but towards the end, it completely falls apart. But there's a reason for that, actually. So apparently, in addition to have had a budget of $2.8 million at the time, it also took 3 years to make. So I tried to look for specific dates as to what exactly was filmed, in the beginning and what was filmed towards the end. I couldn't find any, relevant information, but I do have the feeling, after having watched the movie, that last part, after they return from the city and there's like a time skip a few years ahead, is filmed much later. Because that is where you don't see even like the least attempt of the actors at playing Asian characters.
Yeah, Paul Muni is just Paul Muni by that point.
Exactly. Yeah. Despite what we think of the movie,
yeah.
as I mentioned,
everybody loves it. So
everybody
we're
loves
in the minority.
People at the time
it's all
loved
good.
it.
People today love it. It's all good.
People loved it so much that at the time it got 5 Academy Awards nominations. First off, Best Actress in a Leading Role for Louise Raynor, for which she won. As you mentioned, she is the first actor ever to have accomplished 2 wins in a row. Next one, Best Cinematography for Carl Freud, also won. Movie was also nominated for Best Picture, or as it was known back then, Outstanding Production. Nominated for Best Director for Sidney Franklin. And Best Film Editing for Basil Warangel.
We focused a lot on the one element we didn't like. Again, I want to stress there are some great elements in this movie.
The thing is that you can't ignore it.
The one element that we talked about is distracting. It's distracting from everything else.
Right.
So yeah, I understand that there are some people who love this movie. I thought the story was very well put together. I thought the scenery and cinematography was great. Some of the characters are played very well. But, I mean, the whitewashing is just too distracting. Not only just because they're white actors playing Asian characters, but because I don't feel like they do it well for a lot of them.
That being said now, would you recommend this movie?
Surprisingly enough, yes.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. You know what? If you are of the same opinion as us, it might get you angry. But that doesn't mean that it is not an interesting movie to watch. Story-wise, it is so beautiful. It has a very powerful story, first of all, and convincing story.
Yeah.
Be wary. If you care about
representation,
yeah,
you might be annoyed.
You will be annoyed.
But watch it and make up your own mind,
Yeah. Now that being said, I think it is time for us to move on to the ranking. Because, of course, every year we rank all the movies that were nominated for that year according to our likings and preferences. The ranking of the year 1937, as of now, is at number 3, The Awful Truth, at number 2, Dead End, and at number 1, Captain's Courageous. I think that this movie is a very difficult one to rank.
It is. Let me tell you where I'll put it, and let me tell you where my mind is afterward. I would put it at number 3.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking the same.
And that is not me changing where I would put it. I would put it at number 3, but I will remember this movie much more than Dead End, in my opinion.
You think so? I think I will remember Dead End.
Yeah, well, if you remember, we had the diverging views on that end.
True.
And so this movie, I just can't get over the whitewashing. I will not put it above Dead End, mainly for that reason, which is a big reason. So I'll leave it at number 3.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking number 3 also. So the new ranking of 1937 is at number 4, The Awful Truth, at number 3, The Good Earth, at number 2, Dead End, and at number 1, Captain's Courageous.
Now, if you hate us in the comment section below, please let us know and tell us what you think of this movie.
I'm actually curious to see if there are other people who are of the same opinion as us. So, yeah, please leave it in the comment section below.
I mean, this kind of reminds me of Trader Horn. When we were looking it up, it had all these great reviews even today. And we watching the movie were like, wait, what the hell is this movie,
Right.
Sometimes we're the outliers. I don't mind. It's our opinion. That's how we feel.
Well, that being said, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, which, by the way, is not just about reviewing movies, it's a bucket list channel, and we have so many goals on that bucket list. They include things like self-growth and learning new things, and playing video games and traveling. And we make videos about all of them and bring them all to you. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow us through our journey. Also, don't forget, if you yourself have a goal or a dream that you hope to accomplish, take that first step.
Bye.